Hey everybody, Mark again with mywhistleandflute.com, and this is lesson number 4 for playing your open-keyed flute. And today we're going to talk about tonality and playing in tune. Sometimes people will get, for example, with these open-keyed flutes that I make, or any open-keyed flute that you get, many of them are going to be what they call non-tunable. Now, ours are concert-tuned to the key in which they are supposed to play. For example, this one is in D, but there are a lot of things that can affect the tone. So someone will get it and they'll say, it's not in tune, this is a crappy instrument. Well, it may be, but we try very hard to make sure that our instruments are tuned properly. But with any instrument, you have a lot of things, a lot of variables that can come into play. For example, even though these are made out of PVC, and are less susceptible to temperature swings, still, colder days, if you're playing outside, the cold can affect the tone of the instrument. For example, when I tune these, when I'm making them and I tune them, I have to make sure that the temperature is right and that the flute body is up to room temperature and warm. Otherwise, it will be tuned flat because cold air, cold weather, causes an instrument to play flat. And blowing into it will warm it up and bring it back to tone. So even though this is concert tuned to D, if you're playing it on a cold day, you may need to spend some time just blowing into your instrument to let that 98-degree air from inside of you warm your flute to bring it back into tone. So the weather can affect it, playing outside. And the physics are a little bit complicated, but just remember that cold air, cold weather causes an instrument to play flat, even one that is concert pitched, which is why tunable instruments are nice, because then you can tune them depending upon the weather variables. But non-tunable flutes like these, you can't. So temperature can affect it. Another thing that can affect it is the shape of your embouchure. So blowing on the flute, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but as I go from a relaxed grin to a more of a pucker, it changes the tone slightly. So that's a minute difference. But one of the things that can change it a lot is the position of the flute as you play. Let me see if I can illustrate it here and that you'll be able to hear it on the microphone. Now, I don't know if you can hear that going up and down as I rolled it in and away from me. Rolling the embouchure towards you is going to cause the tone to go flat. Rolling the embouchure away from you is going to cause the tone to rise or to go sharp. Now, this is important because it's tuned to D, or whatever the key is, whatever flute you have is tuned to that key at a specific place in your embouchure, or the position. I tune ours to blow across the embouchure hole, not down into it. But as you're playing, you may find that you want to have that that inflection of causing the tone to go a little sharp. So you can do a little head dip or a little roll. And you can affect the tone. So what I'm getting at is, if you're consistently playing flat, try rolling it away from you just a little bit. Some flutes, now our low Ds are not this way, but some flutes, specifically the ones that are in the minor key for whatever the reason, you'll find it in the second octave, if it tends to go a little flat, we place a specific wedge inside of our head joint so that you can play in key into the second octave. But some open-keyed cylindrical flutes will tend to go flat in that second octave. Playing by rolling the flute away from you slightly and restricting your embouchure to an even smaller thing can help to raise that pitch a little bit across the octaves. So playing in key is a matter of the temperature. Make sure that the temperature is right, a normal, a good, 60-degree Fahrenheit and above. Between 60 and 80 is a pretty good. Once you start getting below that, your flute's going to start going flat. You can warm it up, but if you're playing outside, the cold air is also going to affect the tone. No matter how warm your flute is, the cold air is going to affect the tone. So that can be a part of your problem with playing in tune. Assuming, of course, that your instrument is tuned properly. You may buy an instrument that they don't pay attention to tuning, and very few things are going to help that. But in most cases, this works. Now, this isn't true just with flutes. I wanted to illustrate this. This is a pan flute, which I purchased from Brad White over at panflute.com, and he's got just some amazing pan flutes that he makes. This isn't made out of PVC. This is made out of maple wood, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful flute tuned to the key of D, or excuse me, tuned to the key of G, and then the first note that begins is a D. Now, I know that this is tuned properly. Okay, it was tuned properly when I got it from Brad, and it has maintained its tuning very well. But because of physics, I can play sharps or flats on this instrument just by changing the angle. Remember we talked about changing the angle on your flute, changing the angle of this, so I can play. So I could be playing, and if I have it tipped too far in, I could say, this flute is not in tune. But it is, but I'm purposely flattening the note by the way that I'm holding it. So learning the correct hand position is important, and learning the correct embouchure position. Now, here is a reeded instrument. It's called a Zaffoon, made by Maui Zaffoon. Now, wet the reed here a little bit. This instrument, I can affect the tone not as much by the position, but by the firmness or slackness of my jaw and lip while I'm playing it. Now that wasn't very beautiful, but I'm just trying to show you as I'm biting down and loosening up, the tone is going up and down and up and down. So when I'm playing a song, some of that vibrato is happening by sharpening and flattening the note. So a lot of instruments have a variable of play within them, whether it's a reed or wind instruments, but wind instruments, reeded or open hole blowing like pan flutes and flutes, are going to very easily go in and out of tune based on how you're holding it. It can be a good thing because it can add great dynamics to your playing. But I don't want you to be concerned just because you get an instrument and it seems to be playing sharp or flat. It may be the way you're playing it. And so hopefully these tips will help you a little bit in playing your instrument in tune. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoy playing your open-keyed flute. Visit us at mywhistleandflute.com. Check out our shop page. Send me a message. Let me know how I can be of assistance to you. But have a great day, and I'll see you again in Lesson 5.